touting this inflation report. Can you break down the main headlines for us? What's your takeaway?
Yeah. But as you saw from that chart, it's kind of going in the wrong direction. The rate of inflation has been coming up since the beginning of this year when it was somewhere closer to the low 2%. But when you unpack this report, I think there's a lot of questions over whether or not we saw the impact of the tariffs. When you look at food, energy, you're not really seeing it. Food prices went sideways on a monthly basis, and then energy costs went actually down by 1.1% between June and July. But as Sam, you pointed out, the core inflation, which strips out some of those types of things like goods that come into this country, you did see inflation rising. And when you take a look at some of the categories that we're watching in the months to come, take a look at some of those countries that just got tariffed last week. It would not have shown up in this report because this covers the month of July. So you would not have seen it yet, but you think about coffee beans from Brazil, cars from Canada, clothing from Vietnam, and cheese from the EU. These are the monthly changes that could get bigger in terms of number in those future inflation.
That's a big bump up for coffee, by the way, 2.3%.
Yeah, there's been a drought in Brazil. That's a big reason.
Okay, so that's a contributing factor.
Exactly.
As well. So, or CPI more reflective? And also, what does this mean with another Fed meeting coming up here in a matter of weeks?
Yeah, well, they're tied together because the Federal Reserve likes to look at that core number because they're trying to strip out any sort of weirdness that could come from seasonal pricing for energy and for food. And the expectation is because this inflation report was basically in line with expectations, that in tandem with the labor market report, which showed pretty significant downward revisions, there's now a Federal Reserve expectation that they could cut interest rates for the first time in this administration, or second administration for Trump, as soon as their next meeting, which would be in about a month.
And Brian, President Trump's pick for the Bureau of Labor Statistics getting a lot of attention today. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so EJ, when it comes to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, again, we have to remember the reason why we're even talking about this is because he booted the last person after getting that job support. But EJ Antoni is the pick from the to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He would have to get confirmed by the Senate, so there's a long way to go here. But again, he's probably likely to catch a lot of attention because of his association with the Heritage Foundation, again, the engineer behind that Project 2025 agenda. He's also someone who has been very critical of the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Federal Reserve, and even some on the right, like those at AEI, which is a conservative think tank in D.C., have expressed concern about him being partisan. So we'll have to see whether or not he gets through confirmation.
All right, more to come on that. Brian Chung, thank you.
Thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye right now on severe weather conditions across the country, including the first possible hurricane of the season.
So let's begin in the West, where multiple wildfires are burning in Colorado, California, and Arizona. And the heat is not helping as firefighters try to fight those flames. All of this as temperatures continue soaring from coast to coast, and that's also leading to air quality alerts.
And of course, there are also thunderstorms to talk about. Take a look at what happened in South Carolina this week. That is police dash cam video showing the moments that lightning struck a transformer and burst into flames. Meteorologist Bill Cairns is tracking quite a bit of storylines today. Let's start, though, with NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson. Steve, walk us through where things stand right now, where you are in California, with all of those wildfires raging at the moment.
Yeah, at least 35 large active wildfires burning across the United States, above average for something that we would have at this time of year, but something that's sort of normally on pace for this era of climate-driven wildfires that we live in over the last 10 years. What's so different about right now is what you're seeing, these large, incredibly large fires. Several states have what are called mega fires, fires over 100,000 acres. One of them is the Lee Fire, maybe the most dangerous fire right now. 6 days of red flag winds in a row exploded this fire to the 5th largest now in Colorado history. 1,000 personnel on the front lines. It's 113,000 acres. It's 6% contained. That's a number that never usually drops. Well, it dropped to 6%. It was higher than that before. There's also the Gifford Fire that's here in California, off in Angeles National Forest, 122,000 acres, 33% contained, but still very dangerous, threatening 3,000 structures. There's also the Dragon Bravo Fire. This is the fire that is above the Grand Canyon, 144,000 acres, one of the largest wildfires in the country, burning right now, 44% contained. It torched 100 structures, though, shut down Grand Canyon National Park on the north side, and it's still burning. All of these fueled by this hot, dry weather, and that's expected to continue for at least the next several days, guys.
Steve, thank you. Bill, let's bring you in now. How long is all of this heat expected